you don't even really need a brain to use efficiently.
So
you know, you get that Crescent Blade and the Severum, and you're just absolutely laughing. Q swap, then just auto attacking, you just decimate everything.
The thing with Aphelios is you play like 3 games with him and you understand what the champion does. If you try and read the text, it makes no sense.
Oh, but, absolutely.
Yeah, the last 2 bans being the Ornn here, which will give the side of RIPSQUAD a amazing late game just due to the extra 5,000 gold he generates by existing. Although we do see Susan on the red side here for Moneyman Flacco.
I was about to say, they may have that Ornn for the late game, but I don't think RIPSQUAD actually favour taking this to a late game when you have Nasus Vayne on the other side. You don't want to be fighting this into a 30-plus minute game, do you?
This is the patch with nerfed healing and no more Ravenous Hunter. So, looking at... Am I the only one stuck at 3 seconds, or is that everyone?
I believe it's you and me as well, because I'm still not loading in. Oh, it's been a pause.
Oh, it's paused. Okay. The
That'll
pause didn't load. But, yeah, this is the patch with no more Ravenous Hunter, so... Oh, okay, we're in game again. Every single person running this red tree isn't getting the healing, so I am curious as to what these players will be running. Say, for example, Vex. Is that going to be the Treasure Hunter for that bonus gold injection?
I don't know. I don't think...
Rose, or is it going to be...
Personally, I don't think the Treasure Hunter's that good. That's my personal opinion. I think if you're playing a mid laner, you really ideally want to be playing with the thing that gives you out of combat movement speed, so you can sort of try and roam between these lanes quicker and find work across the map.
I mean, again, it looks like we're seeing a 5-man stack here from the same side of Psycho but Sweet. Meanwhile, there is just a standard 5-point here from the side of RIPSQUAD. But when it comes to Treasure Hunter, it's a good rune, but as opposed to all the other Hunter runes, which obviously become better late game, Treasure Hunter's all about that early game, because a 550 gold injection, if you can get it early, can be a huge difference in hitting item breakpoints. So, again, while they might just opt to take these more, just obviously game scaling Hunter runes, say for example, Vex with a Ingenious Hunter, it's going to get like her Zhonya's up more often, her Luden's up more often.
Yeah,
or if they're going to look for a more proactive early game, Treasure Hunter could definitely allow them to, again, hit item breakpoints earlier, which then obviously harder snowball and win 20,000 times easier.
I suppose you're right.
But yeah, it looks like both junglers here will be starting on their blue sides, which means they theoretically shouldn't meet unless we do see some vertical jungling from one of these junglers.
If the junglers have the capacity to do so, I think. But I don't know. I reckon this is...
Wait.
I think this is going to show respect.
Don't look at Viego and how he reset his blue buff, please. Please ignore that.
Oh, John. No. Not like this.
Oh. Yeah, if you're a Psycho but Sweet and you've just seen your jungler reset his blue buff, only to clear it at 2 minutes, you're a bit tilted.
Oh, Lord.
But yeah, that does not bode well. Again, we're on about how Lee Sin will dictate this early game, and then suddenly he doesn't get to clear his blue buff, meaning his level 3 will be a lot later. So we do see Fancy here going for that level 3 clear, being the buff front buff.
Again, he's going to want to try and get ready to be able to gank lanes as quick as possible. With Black Hole mid being this far pushed, he might actually be able to find an easy angle after that red.
I'll say they will know that obviously he hasn't touched those raptors yet due to that ward he's placed. We'll have to wait and see if... Or he's not going to hold the passive, but...
Luckily enough, he's still moving down, so he's still on his red side.
So it looks like we will see Fancy here pathing down into the bot lane, looking for this early gank to try and get Aphelios ahead.
Oh, they don't know. They don't know.
So we do see the fight starting to come out here. We see the flash coming through from Nautilus. Hasn't thrown anything out yet. Waits for Vayne to respond. That will just end up being first blood. But the flash and the heal popped. Meanwhile, Mouth is going to be forced to flash out. They won't be able to follow that up. Though we do see...
Oh,
Ooh! So we do see the flashes
beautiful.
coming out there from Middle East and... Not Middle East, Outlaw and Fancy, and they do manage to pick up that Janna with the... Or Mount with the Resonating Strike, which will be an early... Was that... Who are those kills on? Unfortunately, First Blood did end up going on to Middle East there, but otherwise, 2 very early kills, and more importantly, denying experience there from that bot lane.
Oh, absolutely. That is, again, this is exactly how Rip want to be playing this game, though. They want to be looking for these early ganks and just trying to get as big as a lead as quick as they can and just try and snowball it to the point where they can't scale. Because the longer this goes on, again, you've got to think it's going to favour the side of
So
side.
meanwhile, we see the gank coming out from the top side. We see the stun land, but Nasus just is not close enough to be able to get that Wither down. So it will be a little bit of harass, but otherwise, say, just back to standard gameplay. Nasus stacking. Say, Karana is not, or sorry, Winter even is not having a fun time here, just getting harassed down by Black Hole Mid. Although it looks like we do see Fancy starting to path towards the mid lane here, trying to help his mid laner out, at least get that wave away from tower.
I don't think he knows either.
So we see the gank starting to come through. We see the flash forwards. That's just going to be a solo kill. Say the gank is still going forwards. The camera doesn't want to look at the gank though, but nothing might actually be happening here. We see the Resonating Strike land, but that is a Vex with Fear, so she's just gonna
level 3 Fancy still.
Yeah. So, oh look. Winter sticking around trying to bait that gank, but ends up just baiting himself into a death. The flash forwards with the ignite. So it does give him the 2 summoners advantage, but that is not ideal.
What I will say, Black Hole Mid recently, he has been playing so flipping well. We're seeing some real good aggressive play. He's just not missing his cues. He has kept that Fizz right under his turret and denied him so much. You need to get online early as Fizz, don't you, really?
So I was about to say, like, his CS is struggling right now with Black Hole Mid just sitting under his tower, harassing him to death. Susan in the top lane just slowly whittling down.
Oh man, I hate playing against Nasus. I'm feeling so much for Ornn right now. That is not fun.
So we do see a dredge line thrown on the bot lane, doesn't land. We do see Fancy top lane here, but it looks like he's not going to go for the gank. Although, saying that, he has cancelled his back. Is he going to come around the wall here?
Looking to
no, it looks like he's pathing mid. Meanwhile, we do see the root come down and land onto Melf here, and he's just going to get CC'd and completely murdered. Meanwhile, they've caught out the Vayne, the exhaust goes down. We see the damage coming out. They're just going to walk onto tower, and that's going to be 2 kills again. Meanwhile, we completely missed that gank in the mid lane. That's 3 kills there for the side of Rip, and almost a 2k gold lead at 6.5 minutes.
They're playing exactly to their strengths. The Lee Sin is just visiting every lane, trying to get them that early lead. The Fizz is finally get a bit safe again, and bot lane are actually stronger than Vayne Janna this early. The Nautilus, the Nautilus does so much more than the Janna early, I think.
Mate, what the fuck is it? I've just noticed people are turning into jungle monsters in the fucking fountain. April Fools, goddamn. But yeah, why do we have to play on April Fools? What is this? But yeah, like this is again this I got saying, like, if Fancy here has the treasure hunter, that rune has already with 3 kills on 3 separate people, that's already generated him what 70, 90, 110, so 270 gold. Which obviously that's an extra kill's worth of gold if he's got that rune.
Yeah, that is actually pretty huge. How much I personally dislike it, that's awesome on a player that can use it early. Like, the Lee Sin especially, something like that is huge on him. They have got a lot of champions there that do taper off in that mid to late game, like the Fizz and the Lee Sin. They want to be getting as rich as they can early and trying to use that money to get objectives.
So we're seeing the Ornn gank coming out here from the top lane, although, yeah, that's just death.
Too far pushed again.
Doesn't even go for the recast on the Call of the Forge God there. Knows he doesn't need to, just trying to make sure that Winter gets that kill. And yeah, 6-1 at 8 minutes, and they've got a control ward on the dragon. Rip does not care. they're just going to clear the control ward and then just go and hit the dragon, because there's no way they can contest right now with these leads across the entire map.
If you were the side of Sai right now, what would you be calling to do here? What would be your port of action, do you reckon?
Flaming the jungler for resetting his blue buff.
Even 9 minutes in, don't let them forget that they missed the blue buff early.
Obviously, I'm saying it as a joke, but at the same time, him clearing that blue buff so late because it reset from him trying to kite it too much. You can see it in the sense that he's just been so much later to any sort of play, to the fact that he's gone for what, one gank top lane, that's it.
Yeah.
And that didn't even work because his Nasus wasn't in position.
I mean, that's the thing as well. The fact he's been in this jungle for all this time and he's still actually not even got that much of a lead CS-wise on Fancy. He's same level and not even 10 ahead. So all that farming hasn't even really been giving him that much of a CS advantage.
I'll say, unfortunately, Viego is not, like, while he's not terrible at farming, he's much better when it comes to actually ganking and getting gold through that avenue, as opposed to some other junglers like Karthus. Not a Karthus enjoyer, by the way. So we do see the bot lane actually rotating up to mid lane here, trying to see if they can catch out Black Hole mid being too aggressive. We see the Chum the Waters come out and lands. That will force a flash away from Black Hole mid, and although we do see Fancy trying to come into Ward Hop, doesn't quite land the Sonic Wave, and that will just be a free flash burn there with the Chum the Waters.
Absolutely. It was a respect flash as well. He was wise to get out of there as quick as he could, really. You do not want to be messing with 4 people coming to your mid lane at 10 minutes.
But yeah, they will be using now just the fact that obviously Nasus isn't on the map right now, although we do see them, they are realising they're taking the Herald here, but I don't think they're going to be able to contest this.
It's going to be a close one.
They're doing it smiteless, but they managed to get away with it. Do you see the fight coming out? Ozanox flashes with the stun, managed to get the shutdown here. There comes Lee Sin. Meanwhile, we've got the Susan in the back line just completely slamming down on the Ornn. Went for the Call of Forge God, doesn't manage to land it. But we do see the Viego ult come out. Number 1 doesn't take him over the wall, number 2 does. Meanwhile, Black Hole mid has managed to chase down Winter and get a kill there as well. Of which you have to ask, is 3 kills, one of those being a 150 gold bonus shutdown? Is it worth it for the Herald?
No, it's gonna. I mean, what? It's 320 gold for 2 plates, so you know, it's. I don't know. I think losing 3 kills there and giving them prio and chance to CS and catch up in XP, I think that actually might be a detriment them all dying for that Herald there, unless they can find a really good opening to knock down an entire turret with it. That was not worth it.
And again, important to note that depending on what Hunter runes Ozanox and Black Hole mid are running, that could have potentially also then been an additional 270 gold for both of those as well, just through Treasure Hunter. But again, we unfortunately can't see runes from here, so. But yeah, it looks like the Herald, they are going to just opt to probably drop the Herald bot lane here, try and get this Aphelios even further ahead than it already is, because you look at the item advantage right now, mind you, Vayne hasn't backed yet, but he's got his Gale Force already.
Yeah, they for sure want to be trying to funnel some money into this Aphelios and try and play through him now. I think the Fizz might be at a point where he's mainly used for ulting and trying to keep the enemies busy. You want to be sort of pumping money into Aphelios to try and get something going for you, really.
But yeah, looking at